I do not buy flour tortilla shells anymore. Get rid of those. We are getting ready to make our own, and we don't need a tortilla press. We don't need a mixer. We're gonna do this quick and easy by hand right here, right now. Before we get started, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today here in my kitchen. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell so you won't miss anything. Returning subscribers, thank you so much for keep coming back yet once again. And channel members, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. So the first thing we're going to do, in here I have flour, all-purpose flour. Now, I will have the exact ingredients and measurements down in the description. Right here, I do have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm adding a half teaspoon of kosher salt and a half teaspoon of baking powder. You want to make sure you whisk that all together, get it all out of there, and that the salt and the baking powder is well incorporated into your dish. Once you have that all whisked together really, really well, make a well in the center. And in this well, we are going to put olive oil, 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Pour that in. And a half cup of warm water. Now, going in from the bottom, you want to keep incorporating that flour until you have a shaggy dough, but you want to go from the bottom around the sides. This gives you an even distribution of your ingredients so that you'll know that they are all well combined. Make sure your hands are really clean because shortly here, we're going to be turning this dough out onto our working surface. Your dough should look like that. We are going to put down a lightly floured surface and turn our dough out onto it. From here, we're going to add just a pinch to our fingertips. And we're going to knead this for about 1 to 2 minutes until it comes into a nice soft ball. And you don't have to knead it hard. Okay, we have it nice and kneaded. It should be a nice smooth ball like that. You can tuck your ends under if you want. And we're going to kind of put it into a nice little log here so that we can cut it into the pieces that we need. Cut this in half. Then we're going to cut each one of these in half. Then we're going to cut each one in half again. Okay, that should do it. Now, we are going to slightly cover each one in just a little bit of flour. Not much flour. Okay, should flour, a little bit of flour on the actual surface. Now we're going to roll each one into a ball. Just like that, and then flatten with our palms. Just flatten it. I'm going to sit it down. We're going to do each one of these like this. Then we're going to cover them and let them rest. They don't have to be perfect in size. If you want to measure it out, you can. If you want to weigh it out, you can. Weighing it out will give you the absolute perfect size for each one. Okay, once you have them all flattened out like that, you want to take a clean dish towel or whatever you may have, cover them, and let them rest at least 15 minutes. So we'll be back. Okay, after your time is up, you can take your sheet off. Your sheet, this is not a bed. Take your take your dish towel off and set these aside. Now, again, you can make these as large or as small as you want, but you're going to want to cut some parchment paper to sit them on and sit in between each one as you make them, because if you don't, they will stick together until you can get them all rolled out. You want to make sure your surface is floured lightly, as well as your rolling pin. You don't need much. And I'm going to roll these out probably about 1/8. I have markings on here. If you don't have that on here, you can guesstimate, or most saucers are about 8 inches in diameter if you want to measure that way, or just eyeball it. Now, when you're rolling these out, you want them to be very, very thin, very thin. Roll them out the best you can in a circle. They need to be almost see-through, because that's going to make you have a nice tender tortilla. If it is thick, it will come out tough, and it won't be that nice texture that we're all accustomed to. So just make sure you roll it out as thin as possible, and in a circle as much as possible. Most tortillas, even when you buy them, excuse me, even when you buy them, they are very thin and they are not perfectly shaped. If you really want a perfectly shaped one, you can lay a saucer on here and cut it out. And again, if you want to make larger ones, then just put the dough together. Don't cut as many smaller ones out. Okay, that's about right. And as you can see, this is paper thin. You can pretty much almost see my fingers through that. That's what you want. Now we're going to lay this on a piece of parchment paper and lay another piece right on top. From here, add a little bit more flour, and continue to roll them out until they're all done. So I'm going to get all of these rolled out, and we'll be back. At our stove, and I have my ChefsFoundry ceramic skillet out, because you'll need a non-stick skillet. No oil, nothing. Heat it up on medium-high heat. In the meantime, you're going to need either something to cover them with or something to put them in with a cover. Now, I'm putting them in here because I can leave them in here. And you don't want to put the parchment paper in once they're cooked. Once they're cooked, the only thing you want to do is stack them on top. You want them to touch, because the heat and the steam is going to just give them that nice, soft taste. I do not want to sit that up there because my stove is on. So I'll sit that to the side. Also, grab you some tongs. If you're using a non-stick skillet, you want to use some that have a silicone or rubber space. So we'll wait for our skillet to heat up, and we'll be right back. Okay, once your skillet is hot, just lay your tortilla down in there, and you want to wait until you see a few bubbles on the top side, and the bottom side is starting to just barely get brown, in a spot here and a spot there. It shouldn't take more than about 45 seconds on this side before we need to flip it over. Once you flip it over, it should only take maybe about 15 or 20 seconds on the second side. So it's starting to rise up in different areas. We'll check it in a second. It's probably been about 20 seconds, and we'll check it. If it takes longer than 45 seconds, then your skillet is not hot enough. So if mine takes longer than 45 seconds, that means my skillet is not hot enough. You can turn it up a little bit. If it starts to brown and bubble up in like 15 seconds on that first side, that means your skillet needs to be turned down. It is too hot. You should be able to go in here and flip this over and see mine's not brown yet, so I'm going to give it a few more minutes. But then for the next one, I will turn my skillet up just a little bit. I'll go ahead and do that now. and we'll see how it does. Sometimes you kind of have to just play with it at first just to get a feel for it and see exactly how long it's going to take for the rest of your batch. Okay, so my skillet was absolutely 100% not hot enough. Okay, so as you can see, you see the little bubbles that are on the top. That's what you want to look for, but that should have happened in 45 seconds. It's been well over a minute, like 2 minutes. So I'm going to adjust my stove for the next one, but as you can see, this side is what you want to see here, where it's just golden brown in spots here and there. That's what we're looking for. Now, you don't put anything in your skillet, but because you did have flour on your cutting board, you had some on your rolling pin, you may end up with some excess flour in your skillet. If you start seeing any excess flour in the skillet, go ahead and remove it. Okay, and as you can see, this side is starting to brown a little bit too. Okay, this one shouldn't take but a few seconds. Okay, see how quickly these larger puffs created this time around? And you just want to flip it over, and if you can see that little brown spots around, that's what you want, and it's slightly puffed up. That's exactly what we're looking for in a faster time frame. Ooh, look guys, don't they look amazing? Oh my goodness. Ooh, yes. And I've got a little taco stuff made here. So I'm gonna make this up right quick so we can do a taste test. Okay, so I'm just gonna fill one up right quick so we can do a quick taste test. You know I have to put some of my all-purpose seasoning on everything. You can put any seasoning you want if you don't have it, but you should have it, okay? Okay, while I am filling this up, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today here in my kitchen. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell so you won't miss anything. Returning subscribers, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and my channel members. Oh my goodness, thank you. Okay, I am just putting a little lettuce on here, a little leftover chicken that I had, and a few tomatoes. And this is just a little salad dressing that I had previously made. So we're just gonna put this on here right quick, cut into it, so we can have our taste test. Oh my goodness, I can set that aside. Okay. See, it folds up nice and easy, tender, and it smells delicious. It smells delicious. I'm just gonna cut a piece off of here right quick so we can do our taste test. Oh my goodness. And you know you can do anything you want with these flour tortillas, just like you can the ones in the store. But I'm gonna tell you something, if you take the time, just take a second and try to make them. They're real easy to make, and the taste is so amazing. And I think I had 5 ingredients. Read the back of the package, see how many ingredients they have. Okay. The texture is amazing. The flavor, they're nice and soft, and yet they still have that bite and that chewiness to them. Delicious. Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what time it is. Time for me to go and eat. And I will see you next time. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Bye-bye.